mastermind with a lot to probably get into. I'm sure we won't get through everything, but I'm PK from the Fjord team. Really excited to have three great guests here, and hopefully have some fun conversations around Web2, Web3 gaming, and kind of where we see the space going. But before we dive in, I'd love to just get a brief intro from each guest. Daes, do you want to go ahead and kick us off with a little bit about you and County Capital?
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Daes. You must have seen me posting alpha on Twitter. I'm part of County Capital, and I'm also working on GG Quest, which is a company in the crypto gaming space. And I'm also working on DGenFi, which is more of a consulting firm for crypto companies, where we help give our perspective, our crypto native perspective around how to like launch companies, how to go about tokenomics and whatnot. But yeah.
Awesome, great. Thank you so much. We're excited to have you. And Sirsu, do you want to jump in next? I know you're a surprise guest with us today. Sirsu, you're still on mute if you're talking. If you're having mic issues, I can just jump over to Sam. All right, Sam, you want to go ahead and jump in and kind of give us an intro of yourself and Mazer?
Yeah, no worries at all. So my name is Sam. I'm the owner and founder of Mazer Gaming. What we are is an esports and entertainment organization. We've been around since 2014. Traditionally, what we do is we have all of these different players and teams in games like Call of Duty, Gears of War, Super Smash Bros, Pokemon Go, and Unite have been big ones for us recently. And we have all of these players competing under the organization and representing the brand. We obviously have a web3 element. We've been involved in the space since 2018 and have been doing a lot of awesome integrations through partnerships, sponsorships, tournaments. Obviously, we're hosting one this weekend with you guys, and content creation as well. We're big believers in the space. We're doing our best to onboard new users from Web2 to Web3 as much as we can through our streamers and content creators. And we're super excited to be working with you guys.
Great. No, thank you. We're super excited as well and pumped for the competition on Saturday.
Just like Sam, actually. My name is Sirsu. I run Blackhand. Blackhand is a Web3 crypto native esports style that started August of 2021. And also, just like Mazer, we had a Pokemon Unite team. Our Pokemon Unite team and Nouns Esports Pokemon Unite team, which was part of a prop that we had collaborated with the Nouns Esports team. I think it's called Prop 91 in the Nouns style. Both of our Pokemon Unite teams ended up competing for the World Championship final, where our team eked out the win, which is really nice. We also managed esports teams such as Apex Legends and Halo Infinite as well, measuring over 2 regions, both European Union and North America. Side of just doing competition is also building infrastructure for the esports ecosystem. And we're doing that with a project called Stadium, where we're creating unique crypto native events, both IRL and URL, centered around kind of like data sovereignty from a particular player's player card. So those are kind of the things that we're working on, and I'm excited to help also bridge the gap between.
That's great. Thanks so much for that background. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? I feel like my headphones might be cutting out. All right. Take the thumbs up and thumbs down. I think we're good. So I'll take that as that's a great segue to move into, kind of what is the great opportunities that are happening in Web3 gaming. So I love what you're just leading with, and about kind of the opportunities you're seeking out. So I'd love to just kind of go around the horn and chat about, what's the bright side here? I think we've all read, plenty of articles coming out from whatever VCs or new games coming that, Web3 gaming is the future and it's really exciting. And then, there's people like Ryan Selkis who are saying it's overhyped. So like, what's the truth? What do you guys think about like the future of, just Web3 gaming as a whole? And Daes, if we want to start with you and kind of stay in the same order, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess it depends, because gaming is quite a big space. I think what's going to happen is social media platforms are going to start adopting more crypto. We've seen Reddit add wallets. You could connect your wallet to Instagram. We might start seeing launchers do something like that. So from there, I think we'll see some growth. On the other side, I think I like the esports growth that's happening in crypto, in Web3 gaming in general, because that gives us this engine to create more content, to showcase more Web3 gaming. And on the other hand, I think in terms of like onboarding the next few million people into crypto gaming, that adoption cycle is going to be kicked off by hyper casual games seeking new users and revenue. So teams like Limit Break that come from the hyper casual mobile gaming space, and like these were the teams like Limit Break, Zynga, and a bunch of others that onboarded millions of people to social media and mobile gaming. And we're going to see, the same sort of players do that for crypto.
And so with that, do you kind of view the Web3 or crypto aspect more of like maybe a Trojan horse? Maybe there's crypto baked in or Web3 baked into just one of these hyper casual fun games that people can easily access? Or do you think there's going to be more crypto, in the front and people understand they're interacting with that from the very beginning?
For hyper casual games, I think it's going to be more masked. Like, for example, you can already see Reddit users, claiming their avatars. Most of them don't even know it's an NFT, right? It's a digital collectible. We can see the same movement in China, a bunch of e-commerce platforms adding digital collectibles to get around regulators. So I guess for like, at least for hyper casual games, it's going to be more like, it's going to be cloud wallets. It's going to be, language like digital collectibles. And on the esports side, I think it's going to be a bit more, open.
Yeah. Well, I guess on the esports side, we have a few great guests here to chat about that.
Yes.
Hand or Sam, do you want to dive in from that esports perspective? Because I think it's, super appropriate here in terms of that adoption and, it's crypto baked in, is it in the front? How are your teams kind of responding to that?
Yeah, I'll go here. Yeah, I mean, I think Web3 has done a lot of great things for esports. I think one of the coolest ways that, different teams have been integrating is through tournaments and through team passes. I think it's provided kind of an extra opportunity for, I mean, a lot of these players, if you look at basically, I'd say like 80% of esports tournaments right now, there's not necessarily an integrated Web3 element, but there might be a sponsor or there might be some kind of NFT behind it, and I think that's kind of the way the space is going. I think the easiest answer here is to say that assets are impacting our side of gaming the most. We've seen a lot of gaming companies. We've seen Epic Games get on board with, putting some games from like Gala on their platform and other companies. And, just being able to sell these in-game assets has been really important because, especially if you look at a game like Fortnite and people have spent, millions and millions of dollars on their skins, and now they're kind of caught up in a scandal where they have to like refund everyone because they, weren't doing it in the right way. I think if you kind of put it out there that, these are skins and assets that you could buy for the game, and, in the future, you're able to trade them with your friends, sell them, do all these different things with them. I think that's the best thing for, our side of the game industry.
And how, I guess, specifically to like when you're recruiting team members to join Mazer, uh, is there a lot of education that you're having to go through from Web 2 to Web 3, or kind of how does your team internally think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I think more recently we've been bringing on some more Web3 specific creators, and us being in the space for so long, a lot of the members that we have, at first, when we were educating them, we were kind of still educating ourselves. Crypto was still kind of a new word for a lot of people, but I think at this point, people are very familiar with it. It's definitely, maybe not the gaming side hasn't become mainstream, but the whole crypto and blockchain words are, and people are familiar with it. People have their own opinions on it, of course, but in terms of like our team and our members, we've done a great job with educating them and their fan bases.
Okay, yeah, no, that sounds, I mean, it makes sense that there's more of like a top-down approach to bringing in Web3 gaming to a traditional Web 2 esports team. But it sounds like there is some bottom-up growth of that too, which is exciting to hear. And Sirsu, I think this probably like falls right into you and kind of your organization. How do you see that blend of Web 2 and Web 3 gamers, and kind of how you're looking at current gaming and how you're growing in the space today? We still got you on mute, Sirsu. I don't know if you heard me. Going once, going twice. You're still on mute, Sirsu, if you're here. Okay, well, we'll keep going with that one. I'd be curious to hear some feedback. Oh, sorry, Dace. Did you want to jump in there?
Oh no,
Okay, okay.
I
Yes,
just
no worries. Appreciate it. The funds of poor internet connections. But yeah, anyway, circling back on what Sam was saying, I kind of love how you're seeing a different growth and blend of players, and I'm expecting we'll see more Web 3 players come forward first and kind of change the dynamic of traditional Web 2 esports teams as well. And then just thinking of traditional Web 2 esports, and just gaming in general, what are like the key blockers you all see in terms of gaining adoption and kind of growing the Web 3 space, especially if, maybe the Web 3 components are hidden, they're not front and center. What do you think the biggest challenges are, for more mainstream adoption? And Dace, we can kick off with you again.
yeah. Well, I think we can start by building, cool games and experiences that have, an easy onboarding. I think one of the biggest barriers is that our UX is very poor. Um, and there's a ton of resistance, not just because like the UX is bad, but also because of the bad UX. A lot of people are afraid of getting scammed. So I I think like more mainstream friendly. I was a bit resistant towards cloud wallets, but maybe if you like combine MPC tech to secure the private keys, you can you you can make the wallet experience a bit better. That's just that's the first thing. Um, Beyond that, I think we can also appeal to more hardcore gamers from like the RPG genre when it comes to on-chain games. I think games like Wolf Game, DeFi Kingdom. I know it was like pumped like crazy. It was hyped, but it's still a decent on-chain um, game, or you can call it a DeFi app wrapped like an RPG game. But I see like multiple different like niches appealing to different type of gamers. Um, but yeah, but the biggest thing we have to get over is the bad UX. At DG Quest, we have been also like looking at a lot of experiments to for the future to figure out how can we onboard more Web2 users. One example is we found this Nintendo API that someone reverse engineered, and you can get data from user profiles, their playtime for different games, their achievements, and all that stuff. So so something like that, you can like integrate that into something like like Stadium, Sirsu's platform, and you can import their Smash stats. You can bring it on chain. That's something like we're also working on, but not just for esports, but generally for in-game achievements. But yeah, it's going to be like a mix of things.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the UX component is probably not even just a gaming related thing in crypto or Web3. It's kind of throughout every vertical you can imagine. UX needs to be improved. Fjord, we're in the UX business. We believe that to our core, so 100% in line there. Sam, what do you feel from your perspective, to gain adoption and working with these gamers on a daily basis? What do you see?
Yeah, totally. I don't think there's any real way to do this, but I think the current market conditions have, not been a blessing in disguise, but eliminating these like scam companies or these companies in the gaming space that are really just looking to sell a token first, and then hey, maybe we'll work on a game. And the way it's kind of been is you'll have these drops. They'll sell their tokens, and then at this rate, it's like a 10% chance maybe they deliver on a game, and a lot of them are still building. But I think the most important thing is to bring like valuable products and the valuable games that are actually doing the right thing and putting them into the public eye in the gaming space. And I think the word NFT has really just become like a disgusting thing to some Web2 gamers because of how many people have been, taking advantage of, a lot of these gamers through, overpromising or, just selling NFTs, and then nothing kind of comes of it. And people at the top make money, and people, the traditional gamers are losing their money. So I think it's really important, not only to these, put these great games that are doing the right thing in front of them, but to find ways to integrate into existing games without kind of pushing out the word NFT or throwing all of these terms that they're not going to know in front of them, because I've talked to traditional Web2 gamers that know nothing about crypto, and when you throw at them all of these existing terms in the space that maybe we're familiar with, I think it's really pushing a lot of people out of the space because they're not willing to educate themselves. And a lot of the concepts in crypto and blockchain are super complex, and I think we just have to make it as easy as possible to these new people coming into the space, and just educate them as best as possible.
Yeah, I think the balance of, financialization and developing these game economies while a game's not even built or a game's in progress is definitely very different and has new challenges in like traditional gaming models where it's like controlled, centralized, and it's a very different experience. It is exciting to see teams kind of take different approaches here, but definitely a lot of your points resonate with, with me. And Sirsu, can you hear me? Give me a
I can hear you guys
shout.
now. Thank God.
All right. All right, great. Yeah, so I would love to hear your perspective on, what are the biggest challenges to, Web3 growing here. And so we heard Daes really focusing on, poor UX experience, and Sam talking about, over financialization of games or lack of product being out there, and actual gamers being the ones who end up just losing money and there's no game to play.
Yeah, I think both of those are incredibly important, and the work is happening simultaneously to kind of build bridges there. I think that's for us at Blackhand. My goal is to be sort of like the megaphone. Sorry, I have coffee making in the background. But I think one of the interesting things is, and I think Sam had mentioned this a little bit earlier about kind of like the language around using the words NFTs, or maybe you call them digital collectibles or something to that effect. And we've been doing a lot on our end to try to build kind of like education related to the space, and to be an example of what happens when you do a lot of the same things that traditional orgs do, but because you have this more public governance, because you have this more transparent aspect of people being able to see how funds are being allocated, it warms them up to the ideas that this space is viable because it's not obfuscated anymore. Like when we think about um, and I think maybe this is definitely from an esports perspective, but all of gaming kind of suffers from this to a certain degree, is that you have varying levels of secrecy, or sort of like things that are omitted from the public based upon the publisher level, a league organizer, an event planner, a game developer, all the way down the chain, right? And then even organizations have had varying degrees of issues as it relates to transparency, and creating equitable and fair opportunities for players and content creators and things alike. And so our goal is to, build and create awareness by example. What happens when you kind of flip that, right? And you shine the light on the things that have always been awkward, always been painful. And if we can do so in a way that advocates crypto and shows people that, hey, it's real, it's tangible, you can do things with it, it's empowering, it gives you agency, then these are the types of aspects that we're working to kind of really spur that change, by being a part of the community and actively being a member and a participant, and hearing them, playing with them, competing with them, sponsoring them, but not doing so in a way that builds our own brand, but in a way that warms gamers up to the possibilities of what this world that we're all a part of provides. So I think, like, if Daes is working on UX, and if Sam is thinking about the over financialization, we're about kind of like building the social awareness, and by having the boots on the ground. And I think that that's also important, and sort of acts as the glue between the other 2 points.
No, I love that. The social layer is something we often talk a lot about, and it's interesting moving from like to a decentralized social layer from something that's been like so centralized for our lives. If we're just talking about how social is today, and the ethos you're kind of laying out, I'm sure resonate with a lot of people. How can you? I'd love to hear a little bit more about like how are you going about that? Do you have any like specific examples of how you're sort of solving that today?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the so last year when we really got started, a lot of it was really just saying, yo, like, if you're a crypto org and you have money, a lot of what some of the initial thoughts were for most folks trying to get into esports is, let's just sponsor the biggest team that we can and go loud that way. But it's a gamble. It's a big gamble, because you'll spend a ton of money on what we already know is hyperinflated salary, on players, and you're trying to build like this whole sort of like, movement to try to make things sort of stick. But if that team doesn't perform, or if you run into barriers and walls with, let's say, organizers that don't want anything to do with NFTs, there are plenty of competitive leagues that we have had to find ways to convince and to talk to the organizers to get them to accept what we're doing, because outright in their terms and conditions, in their competitive terms and conditions, any brand that mentions or has minted or anything related to NFTs, they don't want, right? It's kind of like an automatic, like, we just don't, we're banning you, similar to how folks will ban certain sponsors. Um, and so when you're not aware of those things, you have an egg on your face. And so for us, we were like, okay, how can we talk to players that deserve a fair shake, that have the opportunity to compete with pros but aren't pros already, and being able to kind of build from that method of sponsorship allowed us to find folks who are very interested in kind of experimenting with how they want to engage their esports career, and building and using them as sort of like the pilot tests for how new modern athletes would accept Web3 and leverage Web3, not only to build their own brand, but to build kind of like a lifestyle around the usage of these items, the usage of these NFTs, the usage of crypto in their everyday life. What happens when you have to off ramp? For example, we had several of our players who, because of their living situation, because of the situation that they had with their families, right? Crypto was an incredible use case to give them financial freedom that they would not have gotten otherwise, right? So we were able to really kind of like um, pinpoint and find players that really could help advocate for this. And at that point, when they were entrenched after about 2 months, they were able to sufficiently onboard other people into the space. They were able to sufficiently on ramp and off ramp crypto into fiat into crypto. They were able to mint and purchase NFTs, and be in the mix with other things. They could explore. They were discoverers in their own right. And then into this
Got
year,
it.
moving into somewhat of a nounish down model, we've been able to streamline the possibility for folks to actually be a part of our initiatives, to support what we're doing, and participate in active open governance, and how Black Hand leverages its funds to proliferate the meme of being, a culturally cool esports org, but also an advocate for players and professionals alike.
Got you. Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess that kind of paints a little picture of maybe the other side of, financialization of crypto and Web3 gaming does provide opportunities, pretty seamlessly, easy access, on ramp, off ramp, build yourself, your career, your brand, support those around you. Um, but we still have, some of the components that Sam mentioned that we still have to figure out how to work through, and, make it a fun place, a place that people can build, make money, whatever they truly want it to be, that they can do that. And I know we're kind of closing here on the end of the half hour. So I'd love to, and just in terms of talking about adoption, just an open ended question here around, do you see a big Web3 game coming through and pulling in a lot more users? Or do you expect like Web2 games to be adding more Web3 components that ends up growing the Web3 adoption? Or maybe you want to ride the fence and pick something in the middle, but would love to hear your thoughts, Daes, if we want to start with you.
Yeah. I think there's going to be slow integrations happening throughout the years. But I don't see, many mainstream games jumping on like immediate right now. Maybe when the whole industry and the tooling is maturing and it's safe. But meanwhile, I feel like we might see, one or two viral hits that really, onboards a big chunk of um, people into the space. It could be competitive, something like Counter-Strike, just as an example. If you remember, Steam was created to support Counter-Strike's growth, so that, I think they could improve the multiplayer. But yeah, I mean, that's my thought. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I guess I'm hoping to see that. I would love to see a big game come in with a boom, but it might be small incremental steps from the Web2 side. Yeah.
Yeah, like it could be something very simple like Minecraft or Stardew Valley, right? Just you don't need a $100 million budget. Um, it could be something very simple, like a simple on-chain game, and people just get addicted to it. That's how that was the bull market, right? Chart go up. People were addicted to it.
Yeah, I was stepping for a little bit. I tried it out. I don't know if I was addicted, but I tested things. Sir, so I saw you coming off mute. Did you want to jump in?
Yeah. I'm gonna make a disclaimer because I have been a active participant in this in this community since they announced March 21. So I just want to put that out there that this comes with a little bit of bias. But I think the trading card game Parallel has a lot of interesting promise as it relates to it being, I think, one of those pillars, um, partially because of the fact of their very deliberate and communal approach, how they are providing opportunities to onboard people into the Parallel framework as a core trading card game. And that while all of the Web3 NFT components help create a really unique and extra layered experience to the gameplay, at the end of the day, it is a tried and true. You will be able at some point soon go to the store and buy a pack of Parallel cards and play Parallel, just straight out. And I think like the opportunity of it being a very like tactile and approachable game, that if you don't want to have any of the Web3 components attached to it, you can play without it. It's unfettered by it, but the promise is that it is a much more expansive experience when you decide to step into that world, and the progression and how you step into it, it's completely up to you as a player. So I think that that's like something to me. I think they have the right team. They've got like the right mix of folks that are supporting it from an investor perspective and also from like a distribution perspective, that I believe that Parallel might be one of the AAA breakouts from the Web3 space that has great implications for what happens in the future for gaming, I think, and its integration between Web2 and Web3 technology. So that's one of them.
Okay.
I think I'll probably rest there, but I think they're really, really, really unique to look into.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, I like the aspect of Web3 if you want it, but you can just play the game and have fun either way. I feel like the opt in, opt out to fit a unique user is probably a nice balance to strike. Sam, what about you? What are your thoughts here on the next big thing coming?
Yeah, totally. I agree with everything that's been said, right? Because you're gonna need a good enough use case, especially for the people that are against you. Whether it be selling these packs in stores, making the assets more valuable than just being an NFT. I think that's how we're gonna get those Web2 people into the space to where they're consuming all of this content. They're buying, if they're buying packs in a store, they're just gonna be like, okay, hey, cool, that's awesome. I have these trading cards, and I could also go play the game online. And I think that is one of like the best use cases that we're going to see. That's going to bring a lot of Web2 people into the Web3 space, and people aren't going to really even bat an eye once they kind of realize the technology behind it, because they're enjoying the game so much. But yeah, I mean, for mainstream games that are going to integrate, I do think it's going to take some time, and it's going to slowly happen, because they're going to see the value. But yeah, companies like Nintendo, I think their ex-president, he mentioned that he wasn't really against it, but he was just kind of waiting to see where the true value is going to be. And in my eyes, I see that as let's let this space settle down, kind of let the bad ones trickle out, and then hopefully in the future we'll be able to jump in and integrate some of the valuable stuff that's happening. Yeah, I mean, I know like Minecraft was mentioned. I think like last year they kind of banned all of the NFT and blockchain elements that were being developed as mods for their game, which is unfortunate, because I think Minecraft and the sandbox, those kind of games pretty much let you do anything you want, and there was really some cool stuff being built in Minecraft with like NFT worlds and all that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a slow integration, and we're going to see some games that kind of rise up, and hopefully some streamers will catch on and start playing them. I think a lot of like web3 streamers are growing as well as they grow their fan base and grow themselves on Twitch or YouTube, whatever it may be. It's going to reach a whole new level of an audience and hopefully bring more people into the space.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely in line with the big brands. Web2 brands will, try a few things here and there, keep watching, and then hopefully we'll see a few big trailblazers. Maybe it's Parallel, maybe it's some other game that pops up that attracts a giant user base and drives growth forward. But I guess it'll be time will tell. Hopefully it's just build in this bear market, and we have some fun things ahead of us for this year. I just want to take a moment to just thank our guests. We're over our time here, but appreciate you being so generous to come on and chat with us. So thank you, Daes, Sam, and Sirsu. We really appreciate it. Love having the conversation. And for all the POAP fans in the audience, throw us a follow and shoot me a DM, Fjord Foundry, and I'll hand out those POAP codes. And our very own Thurgo Bud, who's in the audience right now, pulled it together. Really great POAP. Hand, you're missing from the POAP, but maybe next time we can have you on, we'll have a POAP that has you included in the design as well. So thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your week and have a good weekend.
Thanks so much, man. This is awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thanks, everybody.